Hello and welcome to the IPR game room. Today we will be talking about the Gaean Reach and its supplement, the Gaean Reach Gazetteer, both written by Robin Laws and published by Pelgrane Press. So, before we even start talking about these books, we really have to talk a bit about Jack Vance, because basically these books are an homage to one of the universes Jack Vance created, and are written in the style of Jack Vance, more or less, and obviously are a great labor of love by Robin Laws, who I think as an author probably feels a great deal of affinity for Jack Vance for reasons that I will explain in just a moment. So Jack Vance was I'm not really sure where the golden age of science fiction starts and the silver age of science fiction begins, but I would say early silver age science fiction author, though he wrote right up to this century. I think he lived to be a pretty old man. I haven't looked it up, but he was active until the early part of this century. One of the most famous things about Jack Vance is he wrote the Dying Earth books, which were one of the 3 source materials that went into the deliberate creation of Dungeons and Dragons. The other, of course, being Lord of the Rings and Moorcock's Fafnir and Grey Mouser books. The Dying Earth books also went into Dungeons and Dragons. That's where terms like prismatic spray come from. They actually come from Jack Vance. So, on the science fiction front, Vance wrote a whole series of novels that took place in a science fiction setting called the Gaean Reach, which is sort of, mankind has spread out across the galaxy and colonized a lot of planets. Mankind has never discovered another intelligent spacefaring species, but there are certainly remnants left behind that show that there were intelligent spacefaring species, but mankind's never encountered one. Instead, in its slow, steady progress across the galaxy, mankind has splintered off and created a bunch of variant races. However, for game purposes, these are just human. They're not so variant. And I really need to worry about sort of how they're different in game terms or anything like that. I remember as a kid of 12 reading the Demon Prince novels. There were 5 of them. And in fact, I have right here a copy of Vance's Demon Prince novel, The Book of Dreams, Book 5, final one in the system, in the series, I mean. This was actually bought for me by my great Uncle Thomas in 1982. I've had it ever since. My great Uncle Thomas, being quite a bibliophile, had a rule when I was a kid, and he took care of me, which is I could get anything, he'd buy me anything I wanted so long as it was a book. And I remember consuming the Demon Prince novels at the time. Now, they're all about revenge, and this game is all about revenge. And most books in the Gaean Reach book series are about revenge. There apparently are, I learned from reading this, quite a few more than I thought. Like, quite a few more. I knew about these 5 books and the 3 Alistor books. Alistor being a region ruler / governmental body within one part of human space, which is the Gaean Reach. I remember reading those 3, as well as the 5 Demon Prince novels, and really, really liking them because they were always about getting even and revenge, which is something a 12-year-old boy typically really, really likes. Lots of kind of Count of Monte Cristo sort of in space things going on. Another noteworthy thing about Vance as a writer was Vance is very witty. He's very witty, and his characters are very witty, and all the characters are very witty. So even your most minor NPC in a Jack Vance novel is capable of saying something biting and sarcastic. So wittiness is, in fact, a big part of the game, which I think might be part of the draw that Robin Laws had to it. Now, for those who are unfamiliar with Robin Laws, he's been around for a very long time in RPG writing circles. I have right here, this is a printout, of course, because I couldn't quickly find a copy of the physical book of GURPS Fantasy II, The Madlands, published in 1992. Robin Laws wrote this. It is enormously amusing in a dark sort of way. So I can see how Robin, as a very kind of witty and dark and amusing writer, would really enjoy Jack Vance and want to do this book, which in fact he did. Now, a few noteworthy things about this book. First of all, it's about revenge. You are all people looking to get revenge on an intergalactic criminal. You define why in the game. And his name is, hard time pronouncing this, Quandos Vorn. See, just like the back of an old science fiction novel, Quandos Vorn must die. And if you look at, say, the back of this Jack Vance novel, you have like a big bold thing with lots of discussions. You always see a lot of this in these novels now. They don't do this anymore. It's very old school. So the basic rule is you're a group of people looking to get revenge, and your entire game is built around that. It begins either with you getting together to decide to get that revenge, or slightly thereafter, and of course ends when you finally kill the antagonist of the game. That is how this game is played. It is very much a narrativist game. It says in the rules that it's a hybrid of the Gumshoe system and the Dying Earth system. It looks pretty much like the Gumshoe system to me. Maybe even simpler than the Gumshoe system. It's based on having a certain number of point pools for each skill that translate into dice that you then roll against difficulty levels. So it's pretty simple stuff. You have a bunch of skills. You're a certain number of points good at them. These translate into pools of dice that can be spent in concurring segments of play to accomplish things such as in combat. You could go, if you had 7 dice in shooting, it's pretty simple. Since this is a very narrativist game, it's not really per se about shooting. You could say, well, I spend these 2, 3, 2 in the coming segments. Meaning I will spend 2 this segment, 3 this segment, 2 next segment. So it's pretty straightforward. You have a token system based on witty phrases that actually boost your abilities. You can spend tokens to enhance your rolls. But you get tokens by using these very Vancian phrases. You cut them out, print them out from the back of the PDF. They're here in the book. And they're all things like, I admit to perplexity. The metaphor is not altogether reassuring. Quite bluntly, I find the situation incomprehensible. I suspect that I am going insane. And you get a certain number of these. They're used almost like a currency in the game when you create your character. And you get extra tokens for using them, and generally sounding irreverent and witty in the game, because that's how Vance wrote. The character creation is really very simple. You print out some cards that from the PDF version of this book, which you get bundled with the physical version. Let's see if I can find them real quick. Here they are. So they're pretty simple. They just kind of give you a certain background and a certain temperament. There's like background cards and temperament cards. And kind of you print them out and everybody kind of draws one of each, but then can exchange. Like everyone can trade until they get sort of the character they want, where they have sort of a temperament and a background they find suitable. And then they add a bunch of these phrases that get tokens when used. This can also be traded. Pretty simple system for character creation, very fast. Looked very appealing to me personally when I was reading it. Like, yeah, I'd play this. This seems really cool. Just as a game design. Then off you go to play through a variety of scenarios. There's a sample one in here where typically in Vance's work, his characters go in their revenge seeking. They go from planet to planet, chasing clues about the person they want to get revenge on by killing, pretty much always. But that just kind of ties into the Gumshoe system kind of aesthetic of it is uninteresting to not ask a lot of questions. That's like the basic premise of Gumshoe. It's boring for a character to not ask a lot of questions. So your characters ask a lot of questions, and a lot of their skills are in fact social skills that you have in this game. And of course, your characters are all ultra competent, like this guy. I think his name's Garrison, and all the Demon Princes novels. There he is. He's punching a henchman. There's the last of the Demon Princes in the background. He's giving him a punch in the face. A lot of Garrison. I remember in these novels punching guys in the face. They get in his way. Sorry. Your characters are not merely competent, but ultra competent, because they're seeking revenge, right? They got to be good at stuff. The game basically rewards asking questions with information, right? So that's kind of how the gumshoe system works, no matter what version of it you're playing, be it, Trail of Cthulhu or Mutant City Blues or this. A lot of the book is dedicated to detailing a bunch of the worlds from Jack Vance's science fiction universe. And in fact, the Gazetteer is more or less just filled with more information about worlds and technology and spaceships and that sort of thing. It's a really great looking little game. It's very fun to read. It's very wittily, again, in the Vancian style, very wittily written. Robin Laws does suggest in it that the best thing you can do before playing this game is sit down and read a bunch of Jack Vance, and I heartily agree. And I think it's worthwhile to read Jack Vance anyhow, because Jack Vance just it's like science fiction potato chips, right? I'm not here to tell you that it's like Hugo Award winning social science fiction. It's not. I mean, Vance has some things to say about society and human nature, and they're generally kind of snarky and amusing. But these are Count of Monte Cristo in space novels for the most part. And these are super competent people getting even kind of novels. But for just like a fun read, because you want to be entertained, they're great books. So I think it's totally worthwhile to do that. I can really see playing this game. It's a lot of fun. It's not a brand new game. It didn't just come in or anything. It's been here a while. But I've been kind of meaning to sit down and read it and do one of these videos about it, because I am myself a Vance fan. Stylistically, I think his writing style is very appealing to me. I enjoyed reading as a kid. I enjoyed reading it now. So finally got into reading these and commenting on them. It is available from Indie Press Revolution in physical and electronic form. And since Pelgrane Press makes all of their books available electronically through Bits and Mortar, even if you buy it from your friendly local game store, you should be able to get the PDF for it through your friendly local game store as well. Follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, listed below. Subscribe to our newsletter. And remember, gamers, revenge is best served revengefully.